Basketball's been one of those sports that generate a lot of money for those who end up doing great in it. And you know, some of our favorite players are loaded with dough on and off the court, which is why the basketball business is booming. You know what that means? Their pay is also going to continue rising. In this video, let's discuss the top NBA players who earn the most money in the league. Starting off, LeBron James. He's piled up 4 NBA championships and 4 MVP awards. Oh, and let's not mention his $1.2 billion in career earnings. LeBron James now has nothing left to prove, which is why we're starting off with him. He's the guy to look out for. You'd think the dude's finally done making money, but as the Los Angeles Lakers superstar heads into his 20th pro season, he's breaking new ground. The player became the first ever active athlete to be certified a billionaire by Forbes in July, which kind of gives weight to his comment that he hoped to become the owner of an NBA expansion team in Las Vegas. And if he stays reasonably healthy this season, he's going to pass the legendary Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the league's career point record. You know what kind of paycheck he's going to get for that, huh? With his pre-tax earnings, with his annual off-court cash from all the endorsements and other business dealings, he's soon to become the highest paid NBA player ever. We won't say that Curry and all the other stars that we'll mention on this list aren't reaching new heights themselves, but it's the 37-year-old that we're talking about right now who's done nothing but impress us with his amazing games and his loads of money. Did you know that according to some estimates, he's one of just 5 to have surpassed $100 million in pre-tax earnings in just 1 year? The only people to have done that are soccer stars Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Neymar, and NFL star Dak Prescott. Up next, Stephen Curry. The 34-year-old player is making records of his own. Sure, he may not be earning as much as the king at the moment, but he's doing tremendously well for himself. Quick question, do you know that no player will make more on the court this season than this guy? And he's just starting a 4-year, $215 million contract extension, which is going to pay him $59 million for the 2025 to 2026 season. He also ranks second with his off-court earnings and is just behind LeBron. His $95.1 million total would have been an NBA earning record as recently as the 2019 to 2020 season. The Warriors guard, who is a big golfing fan and plays it frequently as well, is also a playable character in the new video game PGA 2K23, so you know he's making dough from that as well. Not just that, but he also published a children's book last month called I Have a Superpower. If you want to know more about how he's getting all his money, his content company, Unanimous Media, is co-producing an animated series, Good Times, which is the 1970s reboot of the sitcom. And Curry Brand, his imprint with Under Armour, is also set to release the 10th edition of his signature sneaker.
Adebayo back in. Hero trying to stay with Steph. Steph leaves him to the right.
More on this, Kevin Durant. You didn't think we were going to fail to mention someone like KD in this list, did you? After he successfully sought a trade over the summer, the player is now settling back with the Nets and has signed for the first season of a 4-year contract. That is a $198 million extension that he signed in 2021. The 34-year-old forward got into a partnership with FanDuel in February through his media business called Boardroom and is backed League One Volleyball in the Upstart Women's Pro League Series A round 2 weeks ago. And more than that, his venture capital firm 35V, which has investments in more than 75 companies, has now gotten stakes in the Premier Lacrosse League. So you know that despite his insane earnings on the court, he's loaded off the court as well, because he's got his feet dipped in so many different things.
Harden down the floor, Durant leaking out, able to finish, plus the...
There's also Giannis Antetokounmpo. For the second straight year, he's the only one of the NBA's top 10 earners who has yet to turn 30. Wouldn't we want to be a part of this rare group? Most of us aren't 30, but we're watching this video with PJs on and a bucket of fried chicken right beside us. But before this gets any more depressing, let's talk a bit more about this ambitious 27-year-old Bucks forward who was also the subject of the movie Rise, which was released on Disney Plus in June. He has added partnerships with online gambling site Novibet and luxury watchmaker Breitling. He's also been picking up stakes in many companies, including the telemedicine platform Antidote Health. And not just that, but he also recently opened a shop, Antetokounmpo Bros, with his 4 brothers at the airport in his native Athens. He's not reached 30, but he's reached new heights of ways to make more money. And there's no doubt that he's not going to stop there. Because come on, Antetokounmpo may be a basketball player, but he clearly has a knack for business, and that's something that he's profiting off quite well.
Williams, stout defense, threw it to himself. Oh, he's a fist.
Moving on, we've got Russell Westbrook. He may have had quite a bumpy debut season in Los Angeles after a July 2021 trade with the Washington Wizards, but Westbrook used his $47.1 million option and returned to the Lakers this year. And that was a good decision because he's now doing pretty well for himself. He owns 10 auto dealerships in Southern California, launched a media business called RW Digital in July, and partnered up with advertising firm Casual IQ to help brands spread to diverse audiences. If you thought that's all, you thought very wrong, because he may have a big check coming his way very soon. He recently listed his 13,000 square foot mansion in Los Angeles for just a little under $30 million. So if that gets sold, he's going to get a little richer, which is just the start of his immense wealth.
Yeah. You gotta make the free throws. Lakers know all about that.
Coming up, we've got Klay Thompson. This 32-year-old who just got back on the court with the Warriors at the beginning of this year has been doing pretty well for himself, and it doesn't matter that he missed 2 seasons due to his injuries and has been sitting on the sidelines during the preseason out of caution because Golden State wants to keep him healthy. The guard, due to free agency in 2024, had now added Buffalo Wild Wings, Mountain Dew, and NBA Top Shot maker Dapper Labs to his long list of sponsors over the last year. He is also one of the 4 athlete founders behind the CBD brand Just Live. So it's possible that he may not be playing so much right now, and you might not get to see him play for some time, but he's all set. There's a lot of money coming his way because he has now cemented himself as one of the biggest stars of the game.
Clay's got Jarrett Allen on a switch. He went to reach, and Klay down the lane.
Speaking of stars, Damian Lillard. You didn't think we weren't going to mention Lillard on this list. He just signed a 2-year, $122 million extension in July, which, along with his existing contract, might delay his free agency until 2027. But no worries, because he's trying to take the Trailblazers back to the postseason after he missed the playoffs in April for the first time since his rookie year in the 2012-2013 season. And late last year, Lillard co-founded Move, which makes footwear insoles for athletes. Most of all, he lately strengthened his already huge list of endorsements as he signed with Bose and sneaker retailer Kicks Crew. The guard has also apparently played a role in designing the Trailblazers' new uniform, Statement Edition.
It's funneled to what is considered a non-shooter.
Let's move on to James Harden. Would you reject a $47.4 million deal? No, right? Harden just declined that amount for this season and re-signed with the 76ers on a 2-year, much lesser contract. The new deal is going to pay him $14.4 million less in 2022-2023 than he was due to make with his option. But he didn't go ahead with any of that. Instead, he allowed Philadelphia to be active in the offseason with the additions of DeAnthony Melton, PJ Tucker, and Daniel House. And with all the on-court money that he's making, even though it's a little less than what he could have made, he's also leaned towards equity deals over the traditional endorsements in recent years. He's invested in the Tequila, Gran Diamante this year, and also added Crunch Fitness franchises to his list. The 33-year-old guard also released a signature wine collection through a partnership with Accolade Wines and opened a fashionable restaurant in Houston called 13 by James Harden. It's not always that a player rejects money, right? But if you had so many off-court deals, would you seriously worry about what team gives you the most money? No way. You're gonna play for the team that you really like. That's it from our side today. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or thoughts about the top NBA players who earn the most money in the league, let us know in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.